big scene.
Keeps teamsing.
Hello, hello.
All right, gotcha.
Alrighty, we will be out here then when you get here.
All right, I'm gonna come to you. Just keep that shot. Don't stand in front of the camera
will
yet.
Do. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, Morgan, can you hear me? Are you dialed into IFB?
Can you hear Bill?
Hello. No, can you?
Yeah.
Why can you and I can't?
Bill, I hear you.
All right.
Mute your phone.
As soon as you get her dialed in, just let me know, and I'll toss out to you. Just leave that shot you got up right now.
I got it.
Stay off camera.
Yeah, just stay off camera.
I got it.
All right, cool.
Until you're about to wind up.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm going to start in about 20 seconds. We're going to go live. All right, good morning, folks. It's Bill Hurlbrink here from the newsroom. I did want to jump on with some breaking news updates to the situation that we've been following out of Platte County here this morning. You may have been woken up early from an Amber Alert on your phones. We can report that Amber Alert has been canceled as the child at the center of that has been located safe. There has been a large police presence, though. Just moments ago, these are live pictures from Riverside, Missouri, not too far from Vivion Road and Gateway Avenue. That's right by the Corner Cafe, by the Sonic, and several other strip centers in that area. Busy stretch of road here for this time of morning as well. Our Morgan Rydell is on the scene down there. She hustled from the earlier scene. That's the other thing, is this has a couple of different scenes located to it. There was one not too far from this, early this morning, Vivion Road High Drive, the scene of an initial homicide. Then over just across the interstate, across 635 off of Northwest 50th Street this morning, a scene of another homicide there this morning. And that's also where police believed the 5-year-old that was involved in that Amber Alert was abducted from. Again, that Amber Alert has been canceled as that young lady has been found safe. I do want to get out live to our Morgan Rydell right now. Morgan, if you can hear me, go ahead and kind of give us an update, if you can, from where you guys are and kind of what your experience has been over the last hour or so, because I know you guys rushed from areas over there not too far from Parkville to where you are in Riverside right now.
Yeah, we are here along Vivion Road near Clam Street. We kind of just saw this scene happen by happenstance. We were going from that scene on Northwest 50th to the gas station just over here on Vivion, and all of a sudden, 36 officers just took off in front of us, and then not even a half a mile away, we turned our heads to the right, and it was a scene just piling up down here. You can see they already have police tape up. This area was operating as normal just moments ago. And when we arrived on scene, I did speak with a Riverside officer who was out here. They directed us to the Platte County Sheriff's Office for more information. This is in Riverside here. I just got off the phone with the Platte County Sheriff's Office. They are headed out here to scene. They've been spending the morning at the Sheriff's Office trying to work on the investigation with that double homicide and kidnapping that happened, that they located that 5-year-old. So they've been really busy, but they did decide, once this scene kind of piled up here, they are headed this way now, and we're hopefully expecting some more information shortly, and we're going to be keeping an eye on this. There's just so many law enforcement officers out here. I don't even know how to explain just watching them all take off in front of us at that light down there. It was something insane to see, and then just seeing this scene, how quickly it popped up. We're going to be asking some questions about what's going on.
All right, Morgan. And again, all of this has been surrounding this gentleman you see on your screen right now. His name is Manning is his last name. He is the one that police believe is responsible for what happened here overnight, involving a murder that happened in Riverside, a double shooting that happened over in unincorporated portions of Platte County, just north of Park Hill South High School, there off Northwest 50th Street. This is some previous footage from that scene of that house over there. One person was shot there, unfortunately died. Another person was shot as well. They made it through, and again, that is from where that 5-year-old was taken from. from. And again, the best news that we can pass along this morning is, like Morgan said, that 5-year-old was found safe, was able to be reunited with their family. But again, I do want to give you these live pictures out here in Riverside again. Just a massive law enforcement response that our Morgan Rydell is following here currently this morning. We saw an ambulance on scene here earlier. Now we can see that fire rig starting to pull away with some other firefighters and lots of different agencies of police and law enforcement on scene here. Again, this is not too far from Gateway and Vivion Road in Riverside, Missouri. If you know where the Corner Cafe is in the Sonic right there, this is just east of there on Vivion Road. So, I mean, the Corner Cafe, a busy spot for people to go get breakfast in the morning. They're looking just down the road and they see all of this activity. Again, you can see all of the police vehicles on scene here. Again, this scene, Riverside, Missouri, Vivion and Gateway Boulevard. Morgan Rydell is on scene. She was earlier across the interstate over at the earlier scene near 40th or Northwest 50th Street, when she just saw a flurry of activity from the officers as they started heading towards this scene in Riverside. She followed them, and that's where they are right now with, again, this massive law enforcement response. We just saw an ambulance pull away about 5 to 7 minutes ago. It looks like maybe that fire truck is leaving as well. We have not yet confirmed totally that this is related to the double homicide, but just given the massive amount of law enforcement and everybody on scene here from Platte County, it's sure seeming like it has something to do with what happened overnight. We do have a PIO on the way out here. We're going to wait for them to get on scene. We'll bring you that interview with them live here as soon as they get there. Again, our Morgan Rydell is on scene there, and she's waiting for them to get there as well. We're going to go ahead and keep, Morgan, your shot up. So as soon as we hear from that public information officer from either Platte County or whatever agency it is, we're going to go ahead and carry that live here on our live stream. Again, I want to thank you for joining us here either on Facebook, YouTube, or any of our streaming platforms as we continue to follow these breaking news developments from overnight. If you're just getting up right now, maybe you're checking your phone and you see that you have an Amber Alert on it. I want to let you know exactly what happened. This started a little before midnight last night, where police started investigating a homicide that happened just near Vivion Road and High Drive. So that's just to the west of where we are seeing the pictures from right now. There was another scene, a double shooting that happened across the interstate off of Northwest 50th Street. Unfortunately, one of those people died from that shooting. The other one was able to survive surgery this morning, and we're hearing is doing okay. But also at that second scene, we can give you some previous pictures from there. It was also where we heard that this 5-year-old girl was abducted from. Again, the best news that we can give you this morning is that victim was located safe. They're being reunited with their family. Now, however, there is still, from as far as we know, a subject at large, and this is a picture of who police are looking for. His last name is Manning, and this is, again, a picture of him that the Missouri State Highway Patrol has on their Facebook site, and they are still currently looking for him. But again, the massive police presence located down there in Riverside, Missouri, and that's kind of what we are keeping an eye on right now as we're going to go back there live. Again, we just see a large law enforcement presence, lots of officers carrying some of those long guns out there, kind of in a little pack here around those couple of SUVs with a lot of police tape up on over Vivion Road. So Vivion Road looks to be closed, obviously, right now for folks maybe in the Northmore community, folks in Riverside, Missouri. Again, just a large police presence, and we're still waiting for the police public information officer to come over and kind of give us an update of what exactly is going on. We see several folks headed over towards the cameras right now, so hopefully we'll get an update from them coming up here in the next few minutes. And again, we'll bring you that live here on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our streaming platforms. So far, this is what we know. Again, that Amber Alert from overnight, that victim, that 5-year-old girl, was located safely, and she is back with her family now, and that is the best news that we can give you. There was a gentleman that they're looking for right now. They did say that he was suspected to be driving a stolen car, possibly a stolen blue 2013 Hyundai Accent, with Kansas plates, number 3939ABK. That's this information here on your screen right now. I've been trying to look in this live shot over here. I haven't seen a vehicle that matches that description, but there's so many vehicles on scene too, it's kind of hard to tell. what exactly, if maybe that stolen vehicle is in there, or if maybe there was another stolen vehicle since that one was taken last night. Again, giving you live pictures of Vivion Road and portions of Riverside, Missouri. I do want to bring up a map here. I'll give you an idea of where they are. So if you're familiar with Riverside, this is the Corner Cafe right here at the corner of Vivion and Gateway. This is just to the east. There's the Sonic, there's the Strip Center there, and they're right about in this area right here of Vivion and Northwest Clam Road is where our Morgan Rydell and Edwin Watson are on scene right now, giving us these live pictures that you're seeing right now of, again, just, I mean, there's at least 20 officers right in front of us right there with just dozens of police cars and police vehicles. And again, we're still waiting to hear back from the public information officer, I believe from Platte County, who can give us an update to exactly what's going on. But again, this is believed to have stemmed from the double homicide and Amber Alert from overnight last night. All of this happening maybe after you went to bed last night after the 10 o'clock news. This started a little before midnight, and luckily the Amber Alert was able to be canceled just before 7 o'clock this morning once we found out that 5-year-old girl was found safe. So we're going to keep this live shot up here for just a few more moments. I'm going to kind of reach out to some of our contacts to find out when we are going to hear from this police public information officer. I see a couple of the comments here. I just want to address some of these. People asking where this is. This is in Riverside and off of Vivion Road and Gateway Drive. So again, not too far from the Corner Cafe and the Sonic there on scene. We're seeing some other comments here about some people are hearing on radio dispatch. Something that we're not going to go with here online until we hear directly from the words of the police officers themselves. So as soon as we hear from them, we'll be able to pass along that information to you. So we'll stand by here just for a moment. We're going to keep this live shot up. Stand by. All right, we're continuing to monitor this situation, folks, here over off of Gateway and Vivion in Riverside, Missouri. The police really focusing a lot of their attention up on the right side of your picture, it seems, trying to see if we can see the car that they're looking at. What we can tell you is that from the overnight double homicide and Amber Alert, the suspect car, they were looking for a 2013 Hyundai with license plate 3939 ABK, and it's tough to see there if maybe that car is in front of those police vehicles. So again, we know that about an hour ago or so, a lot of attention was being paid to the second scene, which was across 635 over north of Park Hill South High School. And then our Morgan Rydell was there when she said there was just a flurry of activity, and everybody started headed over towards this scene in Riverside, Missouri. So technically, there are 3 separate scenes involved in this double homicide and Amber Alert from overnight. The first one being near Vivion and High Road, which is basically behind the Quick Trip near the car wash there, if you're familiar with Riverside. The second one is over there north of Park Hill South High School. And then this that you're looking at right now would be the third scene, which is on Vivion Drive or Vivion Road, just to the east of the Corner Cafe and Sonic there in Riverside, Missouri. So again, we're still waiting for the public information officer to come back and let us know exactly what they're continuing to investigate here, whether this is related to what happened overnight. It certainly appears to be, but again, we have not received confirmation from the Platte County Sheriff's Office, Riverside Police, KCPD, or anybody else regarding that. But again, just a massively heavy police presence here in Riverside, Missouri, as we're continuing to watch what's going down. My co-anchor, Carolina Cruz, joining us right now. Carolina, I'll bring you in here in just a second. I want to get just a kind of, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of let's go back to the beginning of what we saw when everything took place. I know you and I got here about the same time this morning, and I think both of us got the Amber Alerts on our phones, and we knew obviously that we wanted to get as much information out as we could, as quickly as we could, so hopefully we could find this 5-year-old little girl.
Yeah, you know what? So coming from the Kansas side here in Fairway, I didn't receive an Amber Alert. So
okay.
Yeah, I didn't get one. So the Amber Alert notification was kind of just through our team's messages before coming in. But yeah, so at about 2 a.m. was when I think that Amber Alert originally went out.
Yeah.
And then at about 3, we knew that we wanted to send our crews there. So they went straight to that scene. That was Morgan Rydell. And then at about 4-ish was when we started to get that information about this is a double homicide. And so I mean, at that point, that really does take precedence, because you've not only got that Amber Alert for a 5-year-old, but also now this is a double homicide investigation in 2 different locations, mind you. So obviously we knew that there was that element of armed and dangerous being considered. Interestingly enough, though, where Morgan was this morning, police presence seemed to be kind of limited. I mean, it was still early, so I would say maybe at about 7 was when we started to see that really ramp up right there at Northwest 50th. And I mean, based on everything that we were seeing from that scene, it was a very detailed criminal investigation there, because they were they were swabbing the door. You could see for fingerprints, looking at different cars. The tape was up. They had pictures that they were flashing, when it was still dark. They were using their flashlights to really get more of a spotted perspective right there of this scene of that home in that area. As right there's that video swabbing that door. So at this point, we were really glad to hear just before 7 that they were able to find that little girl. They found her about an hour earlier at about 5 o'clock, just a little past 5. And I mean, that to me, as a mom of a little girl,
Sure.
You would hope that nothing happened to her in the hours since she was taken. But at the same time, that this person's also just been accused of killing 2 others. So yeah, there was that element of a little bit of fear, I think, from both of our perspectives.
Oh yeah, as parents,
so,
I mean, whenever the Amber Alert comes out as a dad, you automatically, you just get that sick feeling to your stomach. And we still haven't learned exactly where they found the little girl yet.
I know that was the biggest piece of information that this morning, when Morgan was on scene, I kept just asking, but where did they find her? Where was she? Was she turned in somewhere? Did somebody find her? Or did he manage to just drop her back off somewhere? Back reunited with the family. She was checked out. She's okay. But now the homicide investigation, obviously this large presence. Because at first we thought that he had gotten away and he was running away, no vehicle to really take him very far. And then we found out that he was in that stolen vehicle, which was a Kansas license plate 3939. What was that? ABK. A stolen blue Hyundai 2013 Hyundai Accent. So that's the car that they were looking for, and we didn't really get that until just before 7 o'clock, and that was kind of our big thing the entire morning. Morgan was working hard to try to get that information, because obviously that was the main thing that we wanted to know, and we're obviously seeing more law enforcement moving in that area. This is a big deal of a story here for our Friday morning.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot more vehicles get on scene here. Again, these are live pictures coming from you right now in Riverside, Missouri, just off of Vivion Road and Gateway, just to the east of the Corner Cafe. Sonic there, if you're familiar with, of course, they got the laundry place up there, as well as the strip center here. Looks like some more CSI teams coming on scene here. We saw a big focus over right in the center of your screen. There is pretty much where it looks like the law enforcement agencies have had the focus at this morning, and it's tough to tell if that blue Hyundai is here. It looks like that might be a little Chrysler that they have the door open on there. I don't know if that's a police vehicle or if it's possibly another vehicle they thought maybe have played a part in this from overnight. But a lot of attention being paid there on those cars.
I can't even begin to count how much law enforcement we are seeing just in this image here.
Well, and I mean, Morgan, when she was live across the highway, said that she thought 3 dozen people headed that way. So almost 40 cop cars, 40 law
Sheriff's
enforcement
office,
agents
yeah.
started moving all at once toward this one spot over in Riverside, Missouri. So again, the latest that we can let you know is that that Amber Alert was able to be canceled because that young 5-year-old girl was found safe. Thank goodness. We are awaiting a police public information officer to come over here to the scene here and kind of give our team an update on exactly what is happening here in this scene in Riverside. We know that there's been a lot of reports of scanner traffic out and everything, and we're not going to push that out or confirm or deny any of that because we don't know until we hear it from the police officers themselves, and that's what we're waiting on, to make sure that we give you the most accurate and correct information that we can. So as soon as the police give that to us, we will make sure to immediately pass it on to you. And if we are able to get a press conference or any kind of interview with one of these police officers, we're going to bring that to you live here on air and on stream too.
And we were talking about that large police presence that Morgan Rydell had spotted, 36 law enforcement. She just messaged and said some of the officers that she's seen right there on scene includes Riverside Police Department, the Platte County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI.
Oh, wow.
That's a big update right there. The FBI involved in this. What was it?
KCPD
An
right
Amber
there
Alert.
in front of us. Yeah.
And something else that I was wondering too this morning, and we reached out to the school district about, was with Park Hill South being in the area where that second crime scene, the second homicide was located. Is this safe? I mean, is it a safe area right now for not only families but for parents dropping their kids off, or all these buses of kids, even though they're high schoolers? But and we reached out to the school district, to Park Hill School District, and they said that they were not going to be upping security again because they felt that this suspect was no longer in the area. So obviously, as we know now, things have kind of moved and shifted from that original scene. Yeah,
exactly. Across back to the highway, almost back to not too far from where the initial scene was, off of Vivion Road and High Drive. That's just on the other side of the Quick Trip there in the car wash, is where this whole thing started at last night, with unfortunately a homicide there in that area, followed by the double shooting that happened off of Northwest 50th. Here is some video that we got from earlier this morning from that secondary scene, and that's again where we heard that the child was taken from and that there was a double shooting there. Unfortunately, one of those people did die. The other was taken to the hospital where they went into surgery here this morning, and thankfully we heard they're going to be okay. But still, a double homicide from overnight, and it seems like the suspect was found and then police pursued them to this scene here in Riverside, Missouri, which would make it the third scene of this extremely complicated and just violent stretch from overnight. And again, the scene that we're showing you right now, we just switched back to the live pictures, is on Vivion Road, just to the east of Gateway, there in portions of Riverside, Missouri. Again, not too far from the Corner Cafe, the Quick Trip, and everything that sits right there. And again, we're still waiting for police to kind of give us an update of what exactly happened in this location here over about the last hour or so.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest story that we are following for you here locally this morning, which luckily, again, as we have been saying, that 5-year-old girl was okay, found safely within just a matter of hours of being taken from that home off Northwest 50th. But now we're dealing with those 2 deaths that police are going to have to be investigating. Again, this is that live image of this is happening right now. Yeah. What is it? 8:09 this morning, happening right there. So we are going to continue to follow this for you. We're expecting a press conference, I should say 8:12. We're expecting a press conference from the Platte County Sheriff's Office about this suspect, about what we know, a little bit more details about them. Again, if you see that car that they believe that this victim was driving, consider them armed and dangerous. That was a Kansas license plate 3939 ABK. And yes, we're again awaiting that update from police. So once we get that, our crew on scene right here, providing us with this live image. Once we get that update, we'll be able to bring you that here live for the latest information. Which there's still a lot of questions surrounding exactly all of the developments. Now about 3 different scenes we can say.
Yeah.
That first homicide, second homicide scene, and now this location right here. Plus, where that little girl was located, but they managed to find her here safely at about 5 this morning.
Yeah, exactly. And again, they were able to confirm the cancellation of that Amber Alert to us just before 7 o'clock this morning. And again, it all stemmed from this overnight incident involving, like Carolina was saying, those three different locations, and they're looking for this man right here. This is the suspect in all the craziness that happened overnight. 43-year-old George Manning. Again, it was a 5-year-old girl that it was said that he abducted. Again, luckily we can report that that little girl was returned safely to her family. She was found safe. And then again, there was a massive manhunt for this man here that you can see on your screen. Again, 43-year-old George Manning. And then a lot of that ended up to be, it seems and appears to be in this scene right here in Riverside, Missouri, just off of Gateway and Vivion Road. So again, we're still awaiting an update from police. We're going to keep the stream up and going here on Facebook, on YouTube, and all of our streaming platforms. And as soon as you hear that information, it'll come straight from the police themselves, and we'll have it here as soon as that happens. So for our crew right there, I'm going to keep your live stream up, your live pictures up for the moment while we kind of step away for just a moment and kind of regroup here, and just we're trying to again figure out exactly what's going on here in Riverside, Missouri. With our Morgan Rydell is live on scene here, as well as we have several other camera crews out at the other scenes that are part of this very complex and very spread out scene here in portions of Riverside and Platte County, Missouri. But again, we're going to kind of step aside for just a second. We'll bring you some more information here as soon as we get it momentarily. All right, folks, want to bring you back in here real quick. I got several people asking what happened here, so I want to just kind of give you an update of what is going on. Overnight, there was an Amber Alert that got pushed out to several people's phones because of a double homicide and child abduction north of the river in portions of Riverside, Missouri, and Platte County, Missouri. So it all got underway a little before midnight last night near Vivion and High Drive in Riverside when there was a homicide reported there. A second call to police came in off of Northwest 50th Street, just to the north of Park Hill South High School. That's across the highway from the initial scene. And there was 2 people shot at that location. One person unfortunately passed away there. The other person went through surgery and we're hearing is doing okay. Unfortunately, at that second scene as well, there was also a child abduction involving a 5-year-old girl. That 5-year-old was found safely this morning by the police and was being reunited with her family. The suspect behind all of this is the gentleman you can see on your screen right now. His name is George Manning, 43 years old. The last that we can confirm is that he was still at large, possibly driving a stolen blue 2013 Hyundai Accent with the Kansas license plate 3939ABK. While our Morgan Rydell was getting ready to report on this from Northwest 50th Street there, north of Park Hill South High School, she saw a massive police presence speed away from that scene and head over to where you're seeing right now. This would be the third scene from this incident that started again late last night near Gateway and Vivion Road in Riverside, Missouri. If you know where the Corner Cafe and the Quick Trip and the Sonic is right there in Riverside, this is just to the east of there on Vivion Road. Seeing just a large police presence. We do have a couple of our teams on scene right now. This is a shot from a little bit further back, closer by the Sonic. And then this is a shot a little closer to where that scene
and I'm going to hop in here. So the law enforcement presence that we're seeing, because obviously this is very large, we're talking the Platte County Sheriff's Office, the FBI is also involved, KCPD. I mean, they have just got basically the whole crew out here providing essential services. And obviously we still don't know about George Manning and his whereabouts. That bit of information has not been provided from police to us just yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this. If you have any information regarding George Manning, what may have happened, if you saw anything at any of those other 2 scene locations, call 911 or you can call the Platte County Sheriff's Office. That number is 816-858-3521. That's going to help them in their investigation, because even though this Amber Alert has now been dropped, this is still involving that Amber Alert that happened,
sure.
But the homicide investigation. Again, that suspect no longer believed to be, this is the only information we have about his whereabouts, is that they don't believe that he is in the area of that Northwest 50th Street. That was the 4400 block of that area. Mm-hmm. So no immediate danger to anybody in that community. Again, that was near Park Hill South High School. As for that little girl, she's been found safe. She was checked out. She's been reunited with her family. She was unharmed,
yeah.
Which is kind of the highlight of what is just a very unfortunate and sad development from overnight. Again, if you're just joining us or waking up this morning, you probably had no idea that this happened overnight. It started at about 11 o'clock. We started getting updates at about 2, and then again at 4, and then again before the 7 o'clock hour when that Amber Alert was finally dropped.
Yeah, and luckily, just so thankful that she was able to be found safe. I know, Caroline and I are parents. I know a lot of people watching this outside are parents as well. And whenever you get that Amber Alert or you hear that tone come over, that alert, it just kind of puts that feeling in the bottom of your stomach, and you just kind of get sick to your stomach, not knowing and just wanting these things to end in safely for the child's sake. And it seems like that's what's happened here this time. And again, we can report that 5-year-old girl was found safe and was reunited with their family. So what we're doing right now is waiting. We're supposed to be hearing from the police department here within the next 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to go ahead and step away for a little bit, I think. Here again, we're going to leave this live shot up though, so just if our crews in the field can hear this, we will keep your live shots on. We will mute your microphones though. So as soon as we hear an update from the Platte County Sheriff's Office. We're going to immediately come back to you so we can bring that to everybody watching right now on Facebook, on YouTube, and all of our streaming platforms on KCTV5.com. But again, we're still awaiting information from the public information officer from, I'm guessing, probably Platte County, the Sheriff's Department here, and they're going to give us an update on what exactly is happening. But at least we feel like this has possibly come to an end here, and we'll hopefully have that update and confirmation from police here momentarily. So just stick with us here on air, online. We'll have that to you as soon as we can. All right, thanks for joining us again here. It's Bill Hurlbrink, Carolina Cruz, coming to you from the newsroom, giving you live pictures here of a scene. We're still waiting for an update from police or the Platte County Sheriff over in Riverside, Missouri. This has been a long, ongoing incident that started late last night, lasted into the early morning hours, and involved a double homicide, an Amber Alert. We can report the Amber Alert is canceled. The 5-year-old girl who is the center of that has been found safe and reunited with their family. So thank goodness there, but again, still waiting for an update on what exactly is happening here in Riverside, Missouri, that again, we believe is related to everything here that happened overnight.
Yeah, okay, so I kind of want to walk us back. Back to last night at about 11 o'clock was when police first heard about this entire incident, and that's where the suspect was accused of shooting someone and killing them, and then went to a second scene that was Northwest 50th Street. That's where Morgan Rydell was at this morning, and at that scene, police right there at that home on that street. Police then were telling us that that is where a little girl, a 5-year-old, was taken from, a car taken, and then 2 people shot. 1 person killed. The other person has injuries. So that little girl was missing for several hours. We were there on scene as police were kind of swabbing that door, flashing their lights when it was still dark outside, setting up that crime tape, and then more law enforcement arrived to this scene at about 6 this morning. That scene got a little bit more active. And then at about 7, just before 7, they dropped that Amber Alert telling us that that 5-year-old girl was found, and that they believed that that suspect hadn't only run away, but again, stolen that vehicle. And we finally got that updated license plate. It was a Kansas plate, 3939 ABK was that license plate. And that suspect is George Manning, the third. So that vehicle was stolen. Blue Hyundai 2013 was that? A Hyundai Accent. And this is the suspect that they were looking for. That is the suspect that they've accused in a double homicide, so 2 different homicide scenes, and also in taking that 5-year-old girl. We're not using her name anymore because she has been found. She is unharmed. She is safe. She is back with her family this morning. But now we turn our attention to George Manning, that double homicide, and this scene right here where we have just a load of law enforcement. When Morgan Rydell, our reporter, was on scene of that Northwest 50th Street, she saw just a flurry of law enforcement, about 3 dozen, she said, fleeing from that area, going to this scene right here. And we are talking at this scene, she has seen the FBI. She has seen Kansas City Police. She has seen the Platte County Sheriff's Office. I mean, it is just a massive response to this location. We're expecting an update right now from the Platte County Sheriff's Office. We've kind of been just waiting here this hour for that update, which hopefully sheds a little bit more perspective on this, because they do tell us that George Manning is considered armed and dangerous. So again, if you see that car that we've been telling you about, or if you have any information, if you see that car, first of all, just call police. Don't approach it. But if you know any details about either of those 2 scenes, the one from last night, and then again, that Northwest 50th where that 5-year-old was taken from, if you know anything, contact the sheriff's office. That's Platte County Sheriff's Office, or call 911.
All right, let's get out to our Morgan Rydell, who is live there on the scene in Riverside. Again, this is on Vivion Road, just to the east of the Corner Cafe and Sonic down there. Hey, Morgan, you've been here now for about an hour and a half or so. What just kind of have you seen? I know you haven't had a chance to call or talk to any of the police yet, so I don't know if we can get an update there, but just kind of give us an update on scene of what you've seen and how it's changed and things have unfolded here over the last half hour, 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, what you're seeing on your screen right now, that giant police presence, that's what we saw happen just a little while ago, maybe an hour or so ago. We were at the light up by Sonic, just maybe 500 feet away, and all of a sudden these officers all started converging down Vivion, and this is where that scene popped up so fast down here. We don't know exactly what's going on. When we first arrived on scene, I spoke with a Riverside police officer. He told me they're directing any questions and information to the Platte County Sheriff's Office. This is in Riverside right now, and we're seeing a lot more law enforcement, I know you guys mentioned how it's been KCPD, FBI. We've even seen some of those FBI officers, those Platte County Sheriff and Riverside Police, all of them working this scene out here. And it's been very, very busy. We even saw an ambulance that was on scene. It pulled off of scene, and a fire truck. It's just been crazy out here, and we're keeping an eye on things. I did speak with the Platte County PIO. He told me he is headed to the scene sometime this morning. We're not sure when that's going to be, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more information on if this scene is connected to that Manning case and all of that we've been following all morning long, guys.
All right.
Morgan, I do have a question for you, because obviously this is happening in kind of like that strip center. Is that area being closed off right now? Like, if somebody wants to go to any of those businesses right now, I'm assuming, are they telling people to stay back, or what's the directive here?
So I'm going to see if we can maybe flip the camera around to try and see that road behind me. We're going to get there in just a moment. This is closed off. Only law enforcement has been able to get through here since we got through here. But again, I was telling you how early we were on scene. That's why we're able to get through here. We have another photographer that's back up by that stoplight. That's where everyone else is being stopped. Some of these businesses in the strip mall, they are open just because they were open before this happened. And so there's those owners, those workers are around, but there's no patrons headed over here.
Okay, so they're just kind of waiting to see what happens with the scene. All right, thanks, Morgan.
And Morgan, can you maybe talk a little bit about the dynamic shift from just the way the police flew away from the previous scene you were at there on 50th Street to just how, I mean, everyone's just kind of just standing around, it looks like right now. So just quite the shift in dynamic in a short amount of time from those police officers.
I mean, I spent maybe 2.5 hours in that neighborhood telling you guys just how quiet and calm. It was an active scene, but it was quiet and calm. This took such a quick turn, and when those lights and sirens took off earlier, it was fast. Everyone was moving here fast. There was people just stopped all across the roadways as they were letting these officers get through. I'm going to move so you can see just how many of those officers flew past us. All of these just were coming from all different directions around this area to try and respond to this scene, whatever is happening out here, guys.
Yeah, and just the mass amount of officers just there, right there in the intersection, you know, they're just...
I do have an update here that we're getting. The Missouri State Highway Patrol, Troop A, just put this on X, saying officer-involved shooting. It says the Missouri State Highway Patrols, their division right now, has been requested to investigate an officer-involved shooting that occurred in Riverside. So I believe it is this scene that we're talking about here. It says the Troop A spokesperson is on scene. Media staging obviously is going to follow. So we should be getting a pretty massive update on what is going on exactly here in this Riverside location, but we can at least confirm right now that it appears this was an officer-involved shooting, hence a massive law enforcement presence.
Exactly. Okay, and while we await from that, we're going to step aside here. Of course, if that does happen, we'll bring it to you on air and online here at kctv5.com, and of course over the air as well. But again, still just awaiting an update from the Platte County Sheriff, and it sounds like now the Missouri State Highway Patrol, on all this activity here and whether or not it's related to the double homicide and Amber Alert from overnight. It's kind of what we're still waiting on. We're going to step aside from the streaming desk up here in the newsroom now and get ready for a few more things. But as soon as that happens, we're going to go ahead and bring it to you live here on kctv5.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, and all of our streaming platforms. So stay tuned for that. We'll have that update again shortly. But again, what we can tell you right now is all of this activity seems to be stemming from this double homicide that happened overnight. One of the scenes, again, it's kind of a complex story because there's 3 separate scenes, and this happened over the course of about 8 hours. Starting about 11 o'clock last night, there was a homicide reported in Riverside, Missouri, off Vivion Road and High Drive, which is just kind of behind the Quick Trip and the car wash. They're not too far away from the live pictures you're seeing right now. And then there was another double shooting called in over off Northwest 50th Street, just to the north of Park Hill South High School. Unfortunately, one of those people died. The other survived, went through surgery this morning, and we're expecting them to be okay. That was also the scene where a 5-year-old girl was taken by the suspect, the George Manning here on this side of your screen. We've showed you his picture before. This is him right here. And then, as our reporter, as Morgan, you heard from her, was covering this scene this morning off of 50th Street, there was a huge police response, and they headed over to this other area in Riverside, Missouri. And again, that's where everything seems to have culminated here as of this morning. And as we give you a live look here, we're still just waiting for an update from the Missouri State Highway Patrol on this, now that we have learned it's an officer-involved shooting, and it seems certainly to be related to the overnight case, but we still have not confirmed that with police. We are waiting for that, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you that live here shortly. So until then, we're going to step aside. We'll bring you those updates as soon as we have them on KCTV5 and KCTV5.com.